And we are recording episode 49 of the Short Convo
49.
podcast.
Wow.
49.
Are we still introducing each other at 49? This is Asmirale.
This is JC Warrior of Like Cashman. We are introduced. We are here. Jay, I'm going to ask the question again. Are you sick?
Ask. I'm not sick. No, I'm definitely not sick. I just sneezed. That's all.
Is it?
You sneezed.
All right. Dead.
Yeah.
No, we're not sick. So shall I ask how you are? Because you're going to be good.
I've come prepared actually, because the last few weeks it's been a bit of a storm. I feel like I'm in the eye of the storm. I've actually had a really calm day. I've actually trained really well during this whole last lockdown free. I know we're out of it now, but I've trained really well, and I had a really good training session last night. You know, when you're just in a good rhythm of training. I had a really good training session last night, and also we had a couple of new people today, and they were exactly the new people that you want at your club. You want to hear that?
Nice.
Had it ready. So it was a returning student. So a mum brought her lad back. He's, suffering a little bit with mental health and things like that. He's not fully enrolled in school, just does specialised a couple of days. She's like, oh, I know he needs to be back training with you. And it's like, it's just very warming when someone comes back knowing that what you provide gives them so much. And then a completely new person. And the mum was like, it doesn't matter how much cost I'm paying now. It's, we're doing it. The kid needs it. And it's like, oh yeah, not because they're coughing out money, but they just get what it's about, and they
have the right
attitude. Yeah. So I think that helped as well. Or I was in the right place that brought that. But we did speak briefly earlier. You said you were a bit tired. Is that the case?
I'm shattered. I know you don't like saying that you're tired, but I will put both hands up and say I'm tired. I'm all kinds of tired. That's what it is. I don't mind being one kind. I'm always one kind of tired, but I am all the tireds. I'm physically tired. I'm mentally tired. I'm spiritually tired. I'm tired, but I'm enjoying it. It's not a complaint. It's just I'm not used to this pace of things where there's just so much going on in a day. So I'm enjoying the ride, but it's like being on a new roller coaster, and you're kind of like trying to adjust to the loops and stuff as we go through. But yeah, I am tired. It's just a good tired.
Whenever anyone talks about tired, all I will say is wait till you have kids. Because then you got on that roller coaster there. Well, I want to get off. Well, you can't get off. I'm going to make you get faster. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. But yeah, that's all I can say to that.
Well, I think I'm not going to be as rough. My wife needs a lot more sleep than I do. So I think she's going to really not have fun with it. But I think my insomnia will be put to the test, which will be interesting. We'll see how that goes.
I've got some really interesting stuff this week, or I found it interesting. I thought you'd find it interesting as well. I've spoken before about the Monkey Cage podcast with the Brian Cox dude.
Brian Cox.
This one was a really good one. And I'm not pretending to know what I'm talking about. I've only listened to a podcast, but I found it really, really interesting. So we are Homo sapiens, aren't we? Our two legs standing and arms. I never really realised how many Homo groups there were. So going back 50,000, 100,000 years, whatever, there was all different. So like Neanderthals comes up, when you talk about this kind of thing, there was so many different ones. And it's actually a unique period of time that one Homo group, one Homo sapien group is occupying the entire globe. Because we were always in pockets and everything. And these experts on the show were talking about how there was some inbreeding, there's evidence of that. But did you know that? Did you know there was more than one kind of, Neanderthals I've always heard of. I've always heard of another group, but I always put together. But yeah, did you know there was another group of primates? Oh, Az has just got a book.
This really, 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 really good read, Sapiens, and it's literally on that topic, discussing all the groups of different homos, and how we all, coexisted, but like you said, in pockets and not actually necessarily interacting with each other massively, but bits of inbreeding, and there would have been trade, and there would have been, wars and fighting and all the rest of it. And then it kind of gets into all the theories of how we ended up being the last ones hanging around.
Tell me more, Az, because they were talking about it. I'm only part way through the podcast, and they were saying, like, it isn't a case of we were a supreme Homo sapien group, because there was another group that were making blades, were, very sophisticated. There's a comedian on it every time, and he turned around and he said, "Oh, did they all get COVID?" And the lady said, "Well, it is very highly likely that a virus could have wiped them out, because archaeology doesn't save viruses. They don't, preserve, do they, in fossilized form?" But no, tell me. I knew you would have a book on this. I knew it.
I read that book a long time ago, but when you brought this up, it's all like flooding back in my head. So I apologize if any of this is wrong or fragmented, because it's been a while. But yeah, we were not in any way superior. And I think the closest theory they've got to, because they still don't actually have it nailed down why we came out on top, but it's that we were the best jack of all trades. So we weren't the strongest type of human. We weren't the smartest type of human or anything, but we were very balanced. We had a real good grip on a bit of everything. And that's where it was. We didn't have any distinct weakness that ended up getting plagued. Like the Neanderthals were very physical, very strong, very kind of primitive, but then they lacked certain intelligence. So they'd eat things they shouldn't eat, and they would spread a disease around and not think about it the way that we
talking about the Neanderthals or Homo sapiens?
Hold on. Homo.
No. As in,
I'm trying to remember the one.
You just said to me that the Neanderthals, they used to eat things they shouldn't eat.
Oh yeah, well yeah, we're doing it now. That's that inbreeding coming back around. that's what we'll blame that one on. But yeah, it's really fascinating, because I think we have this thing, that Brand Mandan is a great example, the little chart, and I think that's how we all have it envisioned in our mind, that we were all these caveman, and then less caveman, and then human, and now we're here. Yeah. But yeah, there was that big period of time where we were all kind of coexisting, but not existing together.
Yeah, it's almost kind of humbling as well, because it shows that we're not the supreme race, the one almighty and everything. In a humbling way. And it came up as well on the podcast. I never realised we're still in an ice age right now. So the lady was saying, as long as there's ice on the caps, it's classed as an ice age. And it's like 100,000 year cycle of an ice age that the planet goes through. So she said when it's at its peak, the River Thames would be frozen, all of London would be an ice sheet. And then at its least or peak, the River Thames would be like a rainforest, would be, full of elephants and everything else.
Right. So hold on, because now that's bringing up something. Global warming then, because a lot of people who do argue that global warming is not real, their thing to it is that it's all part of this natural cycle, and that what's happening is actually completely normal, and we're going to go through this cycle and then get back to being basically a big flying brick of ice.
What I think is the issue for us, and I think with a lot of these things, so with the food chain, with cutting down trees and everything else, Mother Nature isn't going to have any problem with it at all. It's going to affect us as a race surviving. So the planet is definitely still heating up. That's been shown for this 100,000 year cycle, but we're just speeding it up. And we're basically
accelerating it to a point where we're not going to be able to sustain ourselves on this planet.
That's what I believe it is. It's not a case of like, we're creating the change. We're just like giving it a rocket boost kind of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of funny with that whole thing, isn't it? Because the whole shtick if you will. I can't think of a better word than shtick because I'm tired, but the whole shtick of do recycling, of eat vegan, all this stuff is to save the planet. But it's actually really, you could pull it in a way that's a bit more selfish and be like, save yourselves, because the planet actually will be fine if we get wiped out and we wipe ourselves out by doing it, because the planet will recover. But we as a species will not be fine. It's funny how I don't know if we ever plug it that way, as opposed to always
selling it that way, shouldn't they?
I feel like it should be a little bit more. Yeah. I don't know if that's just too aggressive.
I've got a brother-in-law in South America, in Chile, and he sells green energy. And he says, like, they changed all of their marketing years ago, because he said if you turn to someone and say, oh, you know, buy this solar panel because it's going to save the environment, no fossil fuels or anything else, people will be like, yeah, I want to do it, but when I can. And when he said that as soon as they changed the marketing to change the solar power, it's going to save you thousands, and help the planet a little bit. They'll be like, what, really? Will it?
Yeah.
So maybe they need to change the marketing.
Yeah, a little bit, right? I think there's nothing wrong with a little manipulation if it's in the for the right cause, you know what I mean? To save the human race, we can manipulate a little bit.
Yeah. Not recycle, save the human race. That's what you're doing with the cans and the paper.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the dolphins. Who cares about the dolphins? It's your grandkids.
That'd be all right. And then, so the Sapiens chat, they spoke about the ice, and then I never knew also how widespread elephants were, because I don't know how it came into the conversation on the podcast, but they then started talking about elephants and how, like, now we've got two, haven't we? I think we've got the African and the Asian elephant left. Mm-hmm. But they said there was hundreds of species of elephants all over the world, and like huge, vast numbers of them. And I think it's because it connected a lot with the people, because if an elephant went down, it would feed like 800 people. You know, people would follow the elephants for, you know, the resources that they gave. And like the Neanderthals and the others, they don't know why the woolly mammoth went out of action as well, do they? I think it's all possibly tied in together.
Yeah, well, and there's a more recent example of this with bison in the Americas. So all of America used to be covered in bison, like more than you could ever imagine, fields and fields and fields. And there's written records of the white man wiping them out to wipe out the food source for the Indians, so that they would effectively leave the lands, because they then wanted to colonize and build railways and all the rest of it. So they'd intentionally hunt bison, not for the meat, not for the leather, nothing, just to kill them, just to push out the Indians. And they made, I think, something like 15 species of bison extinct within 10 years. Within 1 century, wiped them. And again, not because they ate them all or did anything with them. They would just, there's like records of them just leaning out of a train, shooting one, leaving it to rot, because they just want to get rid of them, to get rid of the people on the land. No, so we do some crazy stuff. That's why in America, almost all farm animals are imported to that country. Chickens, turkeys, cow, pork, all of this is not native to America. What they had native, they've killed off, and everything else has been brought over to them from Europe, and is now, you know, it's European animals that they're now living off of in the States. Crazy. And then when you look at the numbers that they farm now, you know, they probably farm more in America than almost all of Europe in terms of a cow, but it's not even their animal. We gave them that animal. Nice.
Yeah. Mind blown.
Yeah. Not great. I had a top 3.
Oh, top 3. I was going to ask if we had any features. Go for it. Hit me up, Az.
So, top 3 sports that are not ours.
That are not ours, as in?
As in, we will not count the martial arts. So,
okay.
we are obviously avid fight fans of some kind or another. But
so, no martial art discipline.
No, I will say no combat discipline of any kind. Yes.
Okay.
Top
As
3
in
sports
punch,
for you.
kick, combat, or
Punch,
grapple,
kick,
or...
grapple, etc.
Yeah.
Any other sports, top 3 for you.
Okay.
You can go bronze, silver, gold, or just across the board if you even have 3, because I struggle for 3.
Yeah, you're going to have to go with the first one because I've got one straight off. But yeah, you're going to have to go with the first one.
This is going to be my bronze, and this is how you know I'm struggling because I don't even know if this is a sport. You're going to have to let me know if this counts. Feel free to say no. Snooker.
Yeah, I would say snooker. I'm going to have that. Let me search here.
I mean, is it an Olympic sport? Is it in the Olympics? I feel like it is. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah. So
a sport is a competitive game.
Okay. Well, then, yes, definitely a sport.
Yeah, an activity involving physical exertion, skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. Yeah, it's definitely a sport.
All right. Well, then, yeah, snooker's going to be my number 3. I think it's a game of tactics. I think it's like a bit more of a more interesting version of chess in terms of how it's played and how it works out. And I've seen some very cool things done with it where I could look at the snooker table and not see the shot that these guys can see. And then they do it and you watch it happen. You go, how did you get that ball to do what you just did? And it's one of few sports where I look at it and I can't fathom the way that they figured it out. Whereas other sports, it's like I physically couldn't do it because I haven't trained it, but I understand the mechanics of what's going on there.
How did they arrive at snooker?
I have no idea. No idea. Because it's got a load of specifics, right? The table, the cue,
the color of the ball,
the color, the whatever. What are they made of? I don't even know. But there's a lot into it. Like there's a lot of materials and things that go into that sport where you just
soccer.
Think,
they were kicking a head around, weren't they?
Yeah,
and they
exactly
it to
right.
A ball. Fighting any combat, it's a bit primitive, but yeah.
Yeah, it's food for thought, that one. I don't know the origin. We're gonna have to look into it at some point, but it's a complex thing for what it is.
Okay. My one of my 3 is pool then. So if you're going to call snooker, I'm going to call pool because I did play a lot of pool in my younger years as like a sort of young teenager adult, I would say. Mainly before you could go to establishments like pubs and places like that, where that became the recreational hub for everyone. We had a good pool place in Horsham as well. It was like a new place, and I played a lot of pool, so that would be in there for me as well. So
yeah, good one, nice one. My number 2 is going to be, and it's probably my number 1, but my number 1 covers a bit more ground. My number 2 is tennis.
Okay.
And I enjoy tennis. I can't play it. I've tried many a time. I can't do it, but I love to watch it. I find it really interesting. I find it really entertaining, especially if you get a good matchup where it's very similar to our sport in terms of it's a point system. And when you've got the best of the best, it goes to the wire. Like you look at the finals of Wimbledon and it's like 6-5, 5-6, 6-5. And the guys won it by 1 game. And it's again, what do we say? You didn't lose, you just run out of time. And it's the same thing. They just ran out of games to play. If you played another game, it would have gone the other way. So I love tennis.
My mum was a real big tennis fan, so I can appreciate that call. And, it's good fun as well. I've got no skill to it whatsoever, but I've always enjoyed getting a ball and a racket and hitting it over the net.
Yes, and I like the fact that it's a sport that can have a maturity. Like the expiry age for you to play at the top level is late 30s, 40s, as opposed to you're kind of done by your mid 20s. A lot of the more physical sports, you can't go as long. So like Federer has just been around and at the top for like nearly 2 decades, And I just think that's a fascinating thing, to be at the top of your game, beating, generation after generation for that long is something pretty special. Yeah.
Well, this is a really good one. So
I thought it would be tricky because I know we're so
yeah.
ingrained in what we do, and I know you've got one. I knew who one of yours would be,
Yeah.
but I couldn't think what yours others would be.
I love and I appreciate all sport. I don't have, I would say, I don't create enough time to watch a lot of sport. So I use my time elsewhere. So I've never held a ticket, a season ticket or anything like that. I'd kick a ball about, but football doesn't really float my boat. I used to enjoy basketball. We had a basketball hoop up at home. I used to enjoy a game of basketball, and I loved The Last Chance You with Michael Jordan, that series and those kind of things. I really appreciate any game, any sport. So I'm going to throw this one in as a little bit of a sour grape, a sport that I don't get, and for some reason I dislike is cricket.
Okay. Yes. Agreed. 100% agreed.
I don't know why I don't like it. I've never enjoyed playing it. I've never, for some reason, I just associate it as a bunch of guys standing around getting pissed. I don't know
I know
why
you don't like it. It's because it's stupid. There's no way around it. That is a stupid sport. It is unrefined. It's useless. It's not good for any. Even baseball, if you hit anything the way they hit a ball, or you threw a ball the way they threw a ball, you could at least kill a bird or knock out a rhino. You could do something. But what does cricket translate to in any walk of life? In what world could it ever be useful to anything?
That must be what it is, yeah.
I hate cricket. I agree with you 100%. And I'm glad you threw it in as a -1 because,
Yeah. So that's going to be my least top 3.
Yeah, I'll take it. We're going to have to do that every now and then. Throw in one you absolutely hate.
I'll go to the next one. I'll go next one because I don't know what to guess to your next one, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I'll go next one. Well, you can guess mine then.
Well, so is this your last one or is this your second to last?
This is my third.
Okay, so your last one is the NFL, American football. And you have frozen at the perfect time.
Football. I've frozen. Have I come back?
You have come back.
So, am I with you? So the NFL, and I would put this as number 1 because I do invest a lot of time. I watch Sunday football when the season's on. It's a short season, and my brother used to play American football to a very high level. They won the European Championship version of it, and so I've always had an affiliation to it through him. But then a few years back when we went to America with all the kids and that, we sat down and we started watching a bit more of it. I'd never watched it before. And I don't know if it just caught me at the right time or I just bought right into it. It was this game is just like what we do. And it just took me on a journey with the sport that we currently do and what they do with it. And I just love the model of it. I know there's lots of money. I know there's lots of problems, scandal and everything else that still go on. But it seems to be really about the game. And it seems that there's, colossal money involved. But it always comes down to the game is more important than anything else. And that's one of the reasons I really, really like it. So, yeah, NFL is up there.
Yeah, I enjoy the NFL as well. I don't follow a team in particular, but I do watch the big games and I do enjoy it. And same, I enjoy the ethos of it and the whole energy behind it. I think there's something that a lot of other sports should take from it to take them to that next level, to take them to that next stage.
They almost entertain with it. They're like when you go to a NFL game, it's a day out for the fact. Yeah, it's a spectacle, and I really like that about it. And I think the coverage of not this year because it was all obviously COVID, but the Super Bowl coverage. There, there's this trailer park outside, and they go around all the fans, and 98% of the fans have never clearly played American football or have never clearly done an ounce of exercise. But it's all right because they can love the game. I think that's a really special thing as well.
Yeah, very inclusive in that sense.
Yeah.
It's for everybody. Well, my last one, and yeah, like you said, you might not have saw this one coming. It's strongman.
Strongman. As
I
in
find
world's strongest man.
World's strongest man. I find that stuff fascinating because,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, someone turned around at some point and said, how much food and how much steroids can we put into someone, and what will they be capable of if we do that? And it's like a freak show. It's such an experiment in what the capacity of the human body is.
You
Not in a
reckon
good
now-
way.
Do you reckon they're all on steroids?
Every single one of them. The only reason people wouldn't say they are is because they're not shredded. They're mostly fat, but it's because it's just surplus. Everything is surplus. The drugs are surplus. The food is surplus. The training is ridiculous. Their careers last all of 5 years before every joint is broken in their body. But you just see them do these insane feats of strength where you just think, I have no comprehension of how you even lift half of what you're doing.
We do tune in for World's Strongest Man.
We can't help it. It's like a circus.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, any alien from any planet could come down and be plopped down to watch it and understand what they're looking at. There would not be any explanation of the rules. You could just sit and watch it and go, I know who's winning and I know
it's
who's
not
losing.
American football and it's not snooker, is it?
It's not,
sure.
no. It is just pick this up and put it over there. First one to do it gets the big trophy. Done. So yeah, there's something very innocent about it that I just find it hilarious. I don't know why. I've always found it just fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I would have never have guessed that, but that is a really, 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 really good one. Really good one.
I thought you'd enjoy it.
Yeah. Do you bring anything food this week? Any food topic? Oh, we didn't do food last week, I don't think.
No, I don't think we did. Nothing is coming to mind, if I'm being honest. If you have one, throw it. And if not, I will dig one.
I don't know why I said it, actually. Because, I'm stumped.
We have done desserts. We have talked about drinks. We have talked about hot drinks.
Shakes.
We've talked about shakes.
All of that.
Have we talked about steaks?
No.
I don't think we've talked about steak. So I guess I'll frame it as, what's your perfect steak? What cut? How's it cooked? How's it served?
This has been an evolution of oneself. So as a kid growing up, I would not be eating steaks on a regular basis. I wouldn't have even known where to really go on the menu because we were very much a fish orientated meal family. So we didn't have a Sunday roast. It would be, salmon was my nan's choice of fish. Whenever we went around, my nan's would have salmon. So as far as the choice of cut goes, I couldn't even tell you, actually.
No?
No, I do like a little bit of fat in it, so I don't know what that would be. But I do
sirloin or a ribeye?
Probably that. Probably a sirloin. Sirloin, that sounds about right. But what I do know is I like it beef, rare as.
Nice.
Because what I do really enjoy, especially when we go to, or Lauren and I, our last sort of weekend away, we managed to get to Prague. They're renowned for it is beef tartare. I absolutely love that raw meat. Obviously you've got to have it, at the right time on the toast with that's like my favourite. So is that a steak? That's not a steak though, is it?
No, but it's in the same territory. I get what you're saying. I think most people, 99% of people, are repulsed by beef tartare.
I love it.
Especially in the UK, it's just not a thing, is it? We're just not, as a culture, meat eating is not a thing.
I feel more like a wolf when I eat it. I feel like, we're going to eat meat, we've got to
just
eat it.
Just dead meat.
Yeah. So, a slap done sirloin, but if beef tartare is on the menu, I've got that. That's where I'm.
A sauce with your steak?
I'm not a
saucy
person. No, I'm not a saucy person, but I'd go peppercorn if it was on the menu and you've got to have it, because they told you. Then I'd have a peppercorn, but I don't need it.
And a side, what would be if you had one side to go with said steak?
With steak, it's got to be chips, but thick, well crispy chips.
Triple cooked.
Yeah. Or I could go the really thinner ones, but no, we're going thick here.
Good one, girl. I'm very similar in my approach. And again with the whole like be a caveman thing, I like a steak on a bone. So if it can come to me on the plate with the bone, and then I can eat my steak like a human. Yeah, I want something that I can then pick up at the end if I'm around suitable company to do so, and gnaw on like a dog. That's like the dream scenario. And yeah, also as rare as that I'm allowed to have it within reason of it, you know, being edible. That's what I want. And then yeah, chips. And I'm not much of a sauce person. I like Turkish culture in particular. We don't do much with our meats, so we don't put spices on them. We just like the flavor of meat. So it's like salt and pepper is as far as it often goes. And you'll see it a lot in like kebab shops and things where they offer you chili sauce. But as a Turkish person, you're just like, no, that's not for me. That's for someone. That's for the Englishman that you're trying to sell it to. But for me, I just want the animal, and that's as far as it goes. Apologies to any vegan listeners who are not enjoying this segment.
It's I'm a free eater. Eater. So we're not actually like I had a pasta tomato. Did you know I'd eaten today? I had a pasta tomato dinner, and that was it. You know, there was no meat, there was nothing thrown in, and we are very much like that. But I do appreciate a steak. I do appreciate a piece of fish and those kind of things. I think if we can all live sustainably with it all, then why not at the end of the day? Or if we could go back to just having to hunt for it, that would be even better. And then that'd be well. Now we're on to that. Do you like a sausage?
Yes. Across the board. No issue. Anything in particular? Well, dating a German for 6+ years, you can't help but fall in love with a bratwurst. So yeah, a German sausage has become my new favorite. You've got to be careful with this conversation. It's like full of trouble, isn't it?
The title of this episode, do you like a sausage?
Do you like a sausage? But I'm partial to a Cumberland. I like a chipolata from time to time. Give me a chorizo any day. I'm all good with it.
We had chipolates camping actually. It's one of the
great camping food.
What I find so good about it is it's practical. And so what we do is we get a French loaf, we divide it up, and then you hollow out the middle. So you eat the bread, obviously, as the chipolata is cooking, and then two fit just neatly inside once you've filled it with a bit of ketchup. And it's like no plates needed, no cutlery needed, no cleaning needed. It's like, sorted.
Oh. You know about the origins of the sandwich?
Do I know about it?
Yeah. How the sandwich came to be a sandwich.
I want to keep talking about meat because we might be offending some vegans.
Oh, okay. Could I make upsetting people?
Origin of sandwich. I'm writing this down for next week.
Next time. The food topic for next week.
Yeah, food topic. Origin of
Carry on with our meat. Where would you like to go?
Okay, so because I wanna ask a few things. So look at a barbecue. What else is on there meat-wise? Let's go red meat. So we won't go down the whole pescatarian or seafood angle. We can orchestrate that another night. What else is on your barbie?
So it depends. If we're doing a like quick barbie, as in you're going to cook it to eat it within the next 15 to 20 minutes, shish kebabs have to be there because that's just Turkish. Lamb chops are a big one for me. Again, I like to eat meat off the bone. So if it can be like a lollipop of meat, then that's a great thing for me. So ribs are also included, but ribs is kind of where I want to pause because if we're talking slow cooking, smoking barbecue, American style, then full rack of ribs, 8 hours, put it on in the morning, falls off the bone. Oh, now I'm getting
I do really enjoy a barbecue dripping rack of ribs. Barbecue sauce. Yeah, definitely.
I actually have a smoker now. It got bought for me for Christmas. So I haven't had the chance yet where I just knew the day was going to be good to do it. But either a rack of ribs or I want to try a proper American brisket. I always hear about this barbecued brisket and I've never actually had it. So I want to try this full, get a whole brisket and cook it for the whole day, and then just sit down with a beer and yeah.
I've got in notes and instructions for a ground oven camping. I haven't done that yet. So where you heat up a load of rocks, suitable rocks in the fire, dig a big trench, put the rocks in with a few leaves and that, and then put the meat on top, bury it all for a few hours. So
yeah,
that's on my to-do list for sure. You said kebab. Do you enjoy like a doner kebab?
I do. It's a guilty pleasure, to be honest.
It is, isn't it?
The cheapest, dirtiest one. I do enjoy it, and I hate myself for enjoying it, to be honest. It's not a food that I feel good about eating. I can eat bad food and just feel good about it, because like we eat a balanced diet. I'm sensible with my food. I eat some good, I eat some bad, but I've never eaten a doner kebab and afterwards gone, I feel good about myself. I always feel bad about it, but I don't think I'll ever stop.
My belly always feels good afterwards.
My belly don't feel great after it.
I always enjoy a doner and sheesh, so that's always my go-to.
I saw an amazing video of a guy walking past a closed kebab shop that had left the meat on the spit, wrapped it in cling film, but left it, and there was just this rat on the top of it, gnawing at it on the thing. He was just filming this rat eating this kebab. I was like, yeah, that's about right. That's about where it is.
You haven't, I know I said red meat, but you haven't mentioned chicken.
Well, you said red meat, so but yes, chicken goes on. Chicken thighs in particular for me, if it's going on a barbecue. I'm not so keen on a drumstick.
I'm not keen on chicken. Have I mentioned that before?
No, I don't think you have.
No, I'm not offended. Like if I came to someone's house and they fed us chicken, I wouldn't, say, "Oh, I'm not eating that." I'd eat it, and
But it's not your choice.
It's not my choice. No, I think I had years ago really bad food poisoning from some chicken, and it was around the time that the whole chicken farming industry was being talked about and everything else. I think a bit of a double whammy hit me, and anyway.
My sister has that with tea, as in an English tea. My dad forced her to drink one once. Yeah, my dad forced her to drink one, and that caused her to vomit into the cup. So she drunk the tea, forced it down, and then regurgitated the tea. And she said that image of looking at this cup was burnt in her mind. And now, if you so much as got a Tetley tea bag and waved it in her face, she would, she'd go off on one. So it's very much a psychological thing, I think. Once that's in, it's very hard to pull that out.
Well, I've come also prepared as I'm not going to do a quote today.
Okay.
I'm going to do some random elephant facts for you.
Random elephant facts.
I actually searched earlier elephant quotes and I couldn't find an elephant quote. I was thinking, I quite often search for quotes for a bit of inspiration, to use at times. And I was expecting the gracious elephant be like them, the one with the nature. Or I was expecting something cool to come up. And there's no freaking elephant quotes that I could find. It's
really?
Like, you search, there's loads of quotes about living with big elephant ears or a little pretty baby elephant and a quote about life, but there's nothing that's inspiring me elephant wise. It was that
surprises me.
I thought I'd come up with some facts instead. So it takes about 22 months for a baby elephant to develop inside its mother. And another one, they spend about 75% of their lives selecting, preparing and eating food. And elephants will spend 3/4 of their lives finding, eating their food. They are herbivores, which is absolutely mental, isn't it? When you think about the size of them and the whole meat and eating all of that. An elephant's trunk is strong enough to pick up 450 pounds. The elephant's trunk can definitely be a deadly weapon and has about 150,000 muscles. The elephant is the biggest land animal, the largest animal that lives on land. It seems to repeat itself for some reason. A fully grown elephant can be as tall as 13 feet and can weigh £14,000. That's like 3 ton, isn't it?
Yeah, near enough.
£14,000. When a baby elephant is born, the whole herd will participate. The herd is usually made of 20 to 50 elephants, but there have been herds of up to 500 or more. Elephants are always hungry and eat almost all of the time. I must have been part elephant. They do most of their eating at night because it's cooler, and they can eat between 200 and 900 pounds of food each day and drink up to 50 gallons of water. There you go. So no quote, but you can have some elephant facts.
Yeah, it's well worth trying to find a video of them eating watermelons, because people will give them a whole watermelon the size of your head and they just go, oh. Oh. You know, they're like 5 watermelons with skin and all, everything in, and you just see it and you're just like, wow, we can't do that. It's not how watermelon works for us.
Well, we can do that. I love that.
I also won't give you...
Next time I see a dog licking its balls, I'm going to go, whoa, we can do that.
We can do that. I also don't have a quote, but since we brought up the whole Sapiens thing, this is the first page of Sapiens. Sorry, audio listeners, you don't get to see this. And this
is a hand
on
a rock painted.
Hand on a rock. This is a 30,000-year-old handprint in France. And it's basically the quote he put with it is, someone was here 30,000 years ago just trying to tell you I was here. It's like old school graffiti. It's just to let you know they were present at that time. Yeah, tag. 30,000-year-old one. Man. We've been around for a while.
Well, I feel like I'm ready to re-enter the storm. I think I've been through the worst of it, so it's not going to get any worse coming out the other side.
Out the other end.
Yeah, you better go get some sleep.
I'm going to try. We'll see how we go. Guys, thanks for listening.
Working week.
Oh, good. We're alive. Thanks for listening. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.